I give you the example of myself. Maybe that helps you to understand. So today, let's say today, I wanted to record the episode, and I decided that in the morning, that after dinner, I'm just going to record the episode. And throughout the day, I'm like, oh my God, I don't really want to record. I have no ideas. I have no topic. Like, oof, maybe it's better to record tomorrow. Like, oh, it's been a long day, a lot of workout. I just want to play a game. I just want to watch a movie. I just want to watch something and like not have to do it. Maybe I do it tomorrow. It wasn't the case, but imagine that it happened, because this happened for a very long time for me, where I would think about doing the podcast, but actually not getting to do it and just procrastinating on it. It happened for many years in my life when I did it first time. And then for this time around, it happened for like a month and a half. I set myself the goal of like, I think it was at the end of September I would record, and I started recording, I'd say like maybe first or second week of October. So there was a long process there of suffering already. And I was suffering a lot. So with this single episode and what happens in every episode, if I tell myself in the morning, okay, I'm recording this in the evening, from the morning until the evening, I would experience certain amount of pain already. Because like all the resistance in my body of like the discomfort of putting the camera in front of me and like all the discomfort of recording. So I suffer already a big deal. And if I were to do this for tomorrow, I would have suffered today entirely and tomorrow until I got to do the podcast. But the funny thing, and this happens with anything in life, I believe, the funny thing is that when you actually get to do the action, when I actually got to record the podcast, or when you actually got to do the dishes, or when you actually went to the gym, the action in itself, the dishes, the workout, the podcast, wasn't as painful as all the time in between. That's something that really strikes me. How interesting, how fascinating is the mind that it can make us suffer so much for something, just from creating a story, just from thinking about doing something, than actually doing that certain action. Actually sending that email that you've been putting off for some time, or reaching out to that person, having that conversation, or whatever it is. The sending the email, the doing the dishes, having the conversation, doing the podcast, going to the workout, that action itself, I guarantee you, is not as painful as all the time that you spend thinking of doing that action. That's where, for me, the biggest amount of pain is. Maybe there is a lot of pain in doing the action, but all the hours and all the days in between thinking about it, that's where it creates for me the most amount of pain. So, and why do I say this? Like I said, so many videos, so many things about procrastination. Just do it. Like, connect with your energy, your young energy, and be active, and don't be soft, and just like get to do it. And like this sort of like military, in a way, energy of like getting to do it yourself, to do something, and finding motivation. I think it's really fantastic. But I believe that if you are very disconnected from yourself, and you may not have full understanding of what's going on inside of you, and just not aware of what's happening, then yeah, sure, you can take yourself out of bed and get up every day and just like do. But maybe there's some parts inside of you that are not feeling good about it, because you're not caring for yourself at the same time as finding the willpower to do things. And one way of caring for yourself, I believe, it's with this: becoming aware of what's happening inside of you. Because yeah, there is one thing that I believe deeply in, which is parts work, that we have different parts of ourselves, and many of those parts are represented by a experience that we had when we were little. I want to call the whole thing kind of like the inner child inside of us. That child that didn't have that willpower to do that homework, or that child that didn't have the willpower to do some things and needed some help at a certain time in your life, and just that inner child just didn't find it. at the right time, and maybe that experience is still inside of you. And I speak about this, I think every episode I spoke about this, because I truly believe in it. So yeah, of course, if you're procrastinating something, I can tell you, you know what? After you do this video, you write it down and you get to do it. Maybe you do, and maybe that's already enough. However, I do believe that if this happens in different parts of your life, and especially in severe cases, but also in very little cases, it is a great opportunity to get to know yourself, to get to know what's going on. And yeah, and so going back to like this suffering of the story that you create of like, oh, I'm gonna go to the gym on Monday, and then you don't do it. Then there's also this other consequence, which I believe it's one of the biggest pain one can experience. At least that's true for me, which is the disappointment. The disappointment that you set yourself to do something, you set yourself to go work out, and you didn't do it. You said that you were going to do it on Monday, and Monday came and you just didn't do it. And then you told yourself, okay, I do it Tuesday, and then it didn't happen. And you told yourself, I do it this week, and then it didn't happen, and it happened for the next week. So that feeling of disappointment that you are not able to, commit to yourself, to when you set yourself for a goal that you cannot achieve it. And I don't want to condemn this feeling. I think it's beautiful, whatever would you feel, it's super beautiful, but just become aware of how much pain there is in the time, like I said, between when you think about doing something and when you actually get to do it. And again, if you don't get to do it when you said yourself that you were going to do it, how much suffering is there? Another personal story, me with the podcast, like just thinking about it for so many years, how much suffering did I have? And when I actually got to do it, it wasn't as painful as all the suffering before, all the disappointment. Oh, I'm a piece of shit because I'm not able to do it. I don't know what to do. I'm just going to play another game. I'm disappointing myself. I'm just dragging on and dragging on. And I'm sure like this has happened with different things in your life. So like, again, this is not a video of like, just stop the video and get to do whatever you get to do. Like if you do that, it's fantastic. This is more a invitation to actually self-reflect outside of the story and actually become aware of the story in your mind. And this I will say many, many times because I really believe in it. The mind is so powerful, and like the name of this podcast, beyond ideas. Can you become aware of the story, the voice in your head, the thing that plays out in your mind regarding procrastination? Can you become aware of how much energy you spend with that voice, how much energy you spend with the story, disappointing yourself, failing yourself, not being able to go to the gym or workout or whatever else on Monday, next week, next year, when you're going to quit sugar, when are you going to quit caffeine, smoking, like whatever it is that we all have the different stories in our mind. And then when we procrastinate, just observe in your life. Especially don't even stop procrastinating. I would suggest you don't stop procrastinating. Keep on procrastinating because there's so much learning there. There's so much pain to be felt. And if you're able to actually start looking in your life at these different parts that want to do some things and is not able to do it, and just be with the pain, just be with it, because that's where the healing happens. That's how you actually get over procrastination, by actually being with those parts, being with the inner child inside of you, with the little kid that just want to be playing all the time and all day. The kid doesn't want to do that homework, or many kids didn't want to do it. The kid want to play PlayStation or whatever. The kid just want to have fun, play football, basketball, whatever it is, paint. The kid doesn't want to do that hard thing, the homework or whatever it is, so we all experience that somehow, somewhat. So now I believe that procrastination is a form of inner child wound. It's a form of being a fucking child in a way. So I, for myself, for some weeks before I started recording this podcast, Again, I was just procrastinating. I was just with coping mechanisms, just watching a lot of TV and just like dragging on, dragging on, dragging on. But because I've been doing this work for a year now, like very intensely, this work of connecting with my adult self, like becoming my own father, and this work that I keep talking about in the videos, and I really recommend you to do. So I have connected with this adult, mature energy inside of me that is in constant negotiation with my inner child. So my inner child just wants to stay on the couch and watch another episode. And my adult self is like, okay, it's time to actually get it done. It's time to stop suffering there on the couch watching a movie. Stop suffering thinking, oh, I need to record that episode. No, it's time to actually do it. And I remember before, like some weeks ago, when I actually recorded the first one, I actually said, okay, on Monday I'm gonna do it on Monday, and I actually didn't do it that Monday. And that Monday I spent like watching something for hours, like random YouTube videos, like rabbit hole kind of thing, feeling so bad at night, like, oh my God, even feeling some anxiety. I'm like, I disappointed myself, I didn't get to do it, like whatever it is. The next day in the morning, somehow, somewhat magically, my adult self, my adult energy told me that is enough. And just like that, I myself found that voice, found that adult energy, and said, that is enough. It is happening no matter what today. And that happened. And if you go back and watch that first episode, I haven't watched it again, but it's probably really, really bad because I didn't want to do it at all. Like, that's the last thing I wanted to do. But it was so important for me to actually connect with that energy, with that adult energy inside of me that actually helped me out, because I did a coaching session the week before and I was already working with this, with me being on the couch when I was a child, and my father telling me, you need to do your homework. And I'm like, no, I want to keep playing. I want to keep watching TV, and not finding that energy there when I was a child, not having those tools. But then observing that experience and then connecting with my adult self and being like, okay, you already watched one episode. Perfect. Now we're going to fucking do this. And that's it. I forgot about it. But that Tuesday in the morning, that inner voice just came super clear to me, and I had zero issue. Well, I had a lot of issues, but it was not super bad. And throughout the next 2 weeks, it was a bit like that many times. And again, I would wake up in the morning and I'll be like, oh my God, I gotta record and I have no idea what I'm gonna record. I don't know what I'm gonna talk about. Like, I just don't wanna do it. Maybe I do it tomorrow. The mañana kind of thing, that there is a joke around it. But yeah, that's enough. I just cannot do it. I just cannot do it anymore. Putting it for tomorrow, because I realize how much suffering I have throughout the day and how much suffering I have if I put it off for the next day.